Hi everyone, my name is Hunter. This video is different from what we normally do on this channel where we just talk about stories. But I'm an LA native and I think it's important to give a LA native perspective on the fires. I also think I have a pretty good perspective because I'm from LA, but I'm from like at the Mexican part. So I'm from Downey. I was bred there. I grew up there. I was born in Glendale, but I moved out. When did I move out to? I moved out of Santa Monica in 2020 when I started as a PA on The Boys for season 3. And because of that, I have a good experience on the west side, which is very close to the Pacific Palisades, which basically doesn't exist anymore. But a lot of the people that, lost their homes in the Pacific Palisades or had to evacuate aren't from LA. They are transplants because the west side is largely a transplant community. So I think I could give some different perspectives on this. Basically, there's always been this theoretical thing around the fires in LA, which is, okay, it's really dry, it hasn't rained, and then the Santa Ana winds come, and then we have a couple fires that kick off, and then it just spreads everywhere. And that is basically what happened. If you've ever gone to the Palisades, I know like on the media, it might seem like they're all up, like everything's up against this brush, and you would be like, oh, well, of course it's going to burn down. But I've gone on dates in the Palisades and I've dropped things off at people's houses because I worked on The Boys and some of them live in the Palisades. But when you're over there and you're like driving through some of the neighborhoods, you would not expect that all those neighborhoods would be gone because they're nowhere near the brush. I can't describe like the damage. I mean, I haven't seen, I'm not going to drive up there. I don't want to get in the way of anything. I'm not trying to go look and like, what was the term? It's like a disaster tourist. I'm not trying to be that person. Eventually I'll go, but I mean, it's gonna be a long time. But if you've ever like been to these neighborhoods, they're just normal neighborhoods, like anywhere in America. And yes, the houses are like 5-6 million plus, and some of them, don't get me wrong, are super nice and there's mansions there that burned up, but a lot of them are normal houses, and a lot of them are filled with people who just bought their houses in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and the prices were not crazy like they were now. And the reason that they're rich is because on paper, their house, when they bought it for 100 grand in, the 90s or 200 grand is now worth $7-8 million. And so they're very rich on paper, but these people don't have like the liquid assets. These are like the kind of people that if they lost their fire insurance, which a lot of them did, are just going to have to sell the land and then they're going to have to move somewhere else because they're not going to have the money to rebuild. I've been seeing a lot of things like that where it's like, oh, fuck these guys or fuck these girls because they're rich. They can just build anyways. Who cares about the people in the Palisades? And I hate that. And I don't know why people are like that. Even if someone is rich, why would you want their house to burn down? Like, what joy is that giving you that some rich person's house burned down? Okay, so there's bad rich people. Does that mean everyone's house should burn down? I don't understand the logic and the bitterness of it. It's just, I don't know. And a lot of it's coming from like fellow Americans. And so it's like, why are you hating on these people that have their houses? Like they're just living their life. It's terrible that their homes burn down, like all their memories and stuff. Like behind me is a bunch of useless junk in like the grand scheme of things, right? But it's like my books and my movies. And it would suck if like all my stuff burned down and I lost all of just the stuff. Like it doesn't actually mean anything, but I've been collecting it since I was a kid. It would be unfortunate if I just like lost all that stuff. I only have a small studio apartment, but I could understand how losing all my shit in a fire would be devastating. And I could understand how it would be so much worse if this is the place where my family grew up and this is where I had all these dates with my wife or whatever, right? Like this is the couch that we watched all our shows. This is where we had a big fight and this is where, we reconnected and all these different things that happened at your house and it's gone. And then your neighbor's home is gone. Maybe you hung out with all your friends there. There's a good chance you're never going to reunite because everyone's going to have to move because of the cost of all of it. Yes, there are people in the Palisades who will be fine and will just build a bigger house, but I guarantee you that's not even the majority of them. And even for the ones that have to rebuild, we don't wish those things upon them. Like, why would you wish that? Seriously, if you're one of the people that was like enjoying that this stuff was happening, like, why? Why are you so bitter about life? Just because someone's doing better than you on paper doesn't matter. Like, we shouldn't be wishing natural disasters on each other. That's not a good thing. Like, I'm never ever watching the stuff on the East Coast and going like, oh man, you know, those rich people in Miami, I'm glad their places are getting flooded and, you know, the hurricane's destroying their homes. Not a thing that crosses my mind. I'm like, that sucks. The Altadena fires are even worse in a way, because while there are people in the Palisades, not all of them, and I would still say like a minority, that have the money to rebuild, Altadena has a lot less money. And don't get me wrong, the home prices in Altadena are still pretty high, but you gotta remember they're high everywhere in LA County. That's just what it is. Like, where I'm from in Downey, it's called the Mexican Beverly Hills according to LA Times, and homes there are like minimum, like I think like 800,000, 900,000, and that's a Mexican area. And so Altadena has like a white area and a black area, and it's like one of the old historic black neighborhoods. So the white and the black area have money, like compared to the rest of the country, but they still don't have like enough for all this stuff. Like, I guarantee a lot of people there, if they don't have fire insurance, are just completely screwed. Like, I don't know what's going to happen to them. That whole neighborhood's just going to be done. I just don't know. It's going to be really rough. And there's going to be less people there that have money to rebuild things. I don't know if they have the insurance issues that the Palisades had. So basically the Palisades had so many issues that they got their insurance policies canceled. And this was happening for mudslides, and it happened for like the fires too. I hope Altadena didn't have that same issue, because if it did have the same issue, most of those people are screwed. I would wager that like 70% of those people don't, 70, 80% of those people don't have the money, you know, like the Palisades people, to like rebuild. So not a good situation. And then we had some other fires. We had fires that were like near Santa Clarita. We had fires in the Hollywood Hills that were spreading around. I'm going to show you a photo from my office basically. And it was just wild stuff. Here in Santa Monica, where I live, the evacuation order got 3 blocks away. And so like my valuables were packed up, basically just sport cards. I collect sport cards, by the way. And, you know, just like my dog and my laptop and some things I've written. So like basically the essentials. And I just had a go bag in case things were moving. But I could see the fire burning down the Palisades. The smoke was crazy. Luckily, well, not luckily, but like, I mean, luckily for me, the smoke was going the other way. Very bad for those people, but for me, in my little area, it was good because the wind was blowing the other way. But that wind was like destroying homes, so you know what I mean. Not good, but yeah. I don't know. I will say this. There was like a lot of people like evacuating. I had a lot of friends evacuate. I was calling around and getting people in, you know, options to stay places if they wanted, or I was just checking on them. People were checking on me, and it felt really nice when everyone checked on me, I'll be honest. I never left my house. I just stayed. But, you know, it still was really nice. But I felt very bonded, like I've never felt in LA in my entire life. It was unique. It was such a unique feeling to have like that many people checking. And I was talking to some of my friends, and we were like on group chats, and one point they like left their house, and before they left, you're like, several of us were like, do you want us to go over there to fire prep your house? Like, we can spray water down. We can like basically cut down all the bushes. You know, we could do anything we can to help like potentially save your house. They said it's not worth it. Let's just get out. So, you know, there was a lot of things and a lot of community stuff going on. There was like some fundraisers that I donated to. I'm a big Anaheim Ducks fan, and so it says LA Strong. This was a fundraiser that all the sports teams did, so LA Strong, but you know, Orange County Anaheim Ducks. It's okay. Clippers are my team. The Ducks are my team. The Angels and the Dodgers are my team. I have an AL and NL, but I am not a Laker fan, and the reason I'm not a Laker fan is because I had to go to school with Laker fans, and I can't deal with you guys. Dodger fans were enough. It's fine, my NL team, but like I can't handle it. But like I think this one's closed, so you can't buy these anymore, but this was like a direct donation. There are also a bunch of GoFundMes. I donated to a couple that I personally knew. One I feel comfortable sharing is just because this person's like a public figure, but there's a band called Los Yesterdays who I hope to get into my movie that I make in the next few years. And one of their band members, Roland, his place burned down. I think he was in Altadena. And they're LA natives, and so I threw some money to them, not much. I was trying to spread it all around. But if you look them up, it would be awesome if you could do stuff for them. But the union I'm in basically sent out a thing saying, hey, if you have any extra money, please donate to these people. All these people lost their homes. And I was looking because I had like a set amount in mind that I wanted to donate. And then I got the email, opened up the PDF, and it had all the links to the GoFundMe's for people that lost their houses. There was like 300 people on this list. I got so overwhelmed immediately, and it had like percentages of how much they all raised, and it was like super well tracked. It was a lot. I don't know. It really put into perspective how many people were like affected by this. Because you hear these numbers like 6,000, 7,000 homes burned down in just like this one city. And I don't know, something about seeing the list and the names of the actual people and them knowing that they like work in the same industry with you is a lot. Personally, I know 2 people's houses who burned down personally, but like if you go by one person off, I think I know around like, I would say 7 to 10 off the top of my head. But yeah, I mean, it's not good. It's not good for anyone. If you guys want to donate, please donate and vet. Always make sure you vet. I don't want to like go out and provide you guys things because I think it's important that you vet, but I've been donating anything I had posted on my Instagram to like my friends I had personally donated to. So I always put my money where my mouth is. I hate when people just like share things like, or they're like thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers don't do anything. You know what does stuff? Cash. Cold, hard cash. If you're wondering about the LA County firefighter shirts, my brother's a firefighter, so he was out there. So I wore the shirts. No stolen valor. I'm not a firefighter. I do wear the shirt. That's like one of my favorite workout shirts. And then, but sometimes people treat me really nice and I forget, and I'm like, oh, it's a really good day. I've been at Trader Joe's and like a line's open up for me, or someone gave me like a free donut, or like some random things that would like happen. And I was like, oh, good day. I'm looking handsome. Maybe I got a good smile about me, and then I'll get home and I'll look in the mirror and I'll realize, oh, I'm wearing the firefighter shirt. So anyway, my brother must be getting treated awesome all the time because he's got the mustache and he has multiple shirts. And he just has the full look. So people are definitely buying the firefighter thing. But donate money if you can. Yeah, I don't know. It was a weird thing. The fires are still going on. There's just a new fire that started that, as of a few hours ago, is over 1,000 acres. My friend Hank from college, who's a wildland firefighter, I think he's living in Utah now. He texted me, and he's down here in LA County now, and he's fighting the fires. It's been going on for a couple of weeks. And I know like how these things work is that we just, after the disaster happens, we just get past it. It's like, oh, 4 days later, LA's still burning down, no big deal. And then we move on to the next thing in the news cycle, right? Like now it's all about Trump. And after Trump, it was all about Musk. And I don't know what it's going to be tomorrow, but that's just how it works. But the truth is, these fires are still happening. Those people's homes are still burned down. Rent is messed up all around LA County. People are renting houses. Their landlords are being absolutely disgusting human beings and jacking up prices as much as they can so they can maximize off this. BlackRock's going in, from what I understand, and they're trying to buy up property in the Palisades. It's all disgusting. It's all the worst things about capitalism. No one jumped down my throat. I'm actually a squishy libertarian, but all this stuff is the stuff that just absolutely disgusts me. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot going on, and this is going to affect LA for years, right? And a lot of people aren't going to come back. Eventually, the Palisades will come back. That is literally one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. If you have a home that's up on the hill and you can see the ocean, I'm telling you guys, Palisades is awesome. If it rebuilds, in 5-10 years and, everything's flourishing again, I would encourage you to go. As of now, my favorite movie theater is actually at the Palisades at that mall. And they have really good food too. I saw Predator there last year, the year before. Carl Weathers is one of my favorite actors. Predator is one of my favorite movies. So I was able to see it on the big screen and it was awesome. And, I got the pizza. They brought it to my seats and the pizza was actually really good. It was actually very solid. Like I gave it a 7 out of 10. But I would encourage you to go to the Palisades. Altadena is an awesome neighborhood from what I've heard. I don't know if I've ever actually been to Altadena. I've been to Pasadena a lot, but I don't know if I've ever actually been to Altadena. I think that's probably the closest I've got to the neighborhood. I don't know. Maybe I drove through it at one point as a PA, like dropped something off, but I'm pretty sure it was like borderline Pasadena where I went. But this stuff all sucks. We don't want to encourage people to lose houses. We don't want to mock them just because someone has a house. We don't want them to lose a house because you don't have a house. This seems all really basic to me, guys. Like, it's not good. So just don't wish ill on your fellow Americans. And if you have the money to help out, help someone. Like, you know, instead of buying a coffee, spending $10, you know, and sending it to someone who burned down their house is going to do a lot of good. You know, and instead of spending it, I don't know what you're going to spend it on, but let's be honest, me and you, we all waste money. And if you don't waste money for a week, how much money can you like donate to help these people? And there's countless amounts of people that need help. So I would just encourage you to do that if you care. As far as I don't know, to relate to this channel, as far as how it's going to affect the industry, I know a couple projects, nothing I was working on, but I think a couple TV shows got like shut down for a few weeks. I think they're back up. So those are paychecks being missed by people. There's a lot of, you know, agents, managers, directors, famous actors that lost their houses. Stuff like that sucks. Conan O'Brien's assistant, I don't know if you guys listen to Conan's podcast. She lost her home. She lived in Altadena. It's actually one of the people I like first thought about when I heard Altadena was burning down. I was like, oh no, her name's Sonia, I believe. And I was like, oh, I don't want her place to burn down. And she said it on the podcast, like it burned down. So that was pretty depressing. But yeah, I don't know, guys. It was a cool feeling to see how close everyone in LA got for at least a week. I've never felt like that. I guess that's the closest, I don't know. That's the closest I felt. I guess it's like, I'm not saying it's like the same thing, but I imagine that's kind of like what 9/11 was feeling like for people in New York. As far as like the closeness and like everyone reaching out, like, are you okay? What's going on with you? How can we help? Like, what can we donate? Like, what can we do? And like people going on. I don't think the closest lasted as long, but for like 3-4 days there, it was like pretty intense. Yeah. So thanks for watching the video, guys. Donate if you can, you know, help out your fellow Americans. The media likes to shit on California a lot for some reason. I know this. I lived in Idaho. Everyone liked to shit on California, and then people would go to California, and then they would love it, or they'd be like, no, you guys are cool. I love all my California friends, but California sucks. When I went to California, it was really great, and everyone I met from California was really great, but California sucks. So you get a lot of this stuff. Come to California, come to LA. I think you'll like it. If you don't like LA, you're definitely going to like San Diego. If you don't like LA or San Diego, you're the problem. But yeah, donate if you can. I don't know. Bye, everyone.